piece of silicon is revolutionizing the way we live. This tiny chip is a complete, complex, sophisticated computer. And because of its size, we call it a microcomputer. It can monitor events that range from the operations in an oil refinery to the water temperature in your dishwasher. It'll process information. It'll search its memory for data to match with it. It'll store new data. It'll make calculations. It'll feed back the information to an operator through a display, and it'll finally control the process for which it has been programmed.
Communication satellites are helping to stimulate growth in global education and information sharing as part of a projected $500 billion information industry. Across America and around the world, satellites are increasing the reliability of long-distance calls and worldwide coverage of news and sports events on home screens. The Industrial Revolution expanded the strength of man's muscles in the reach of his hand. The Information Revolution is magnifying the power of his brain, changing forever the way Americans work, play, travel, and even think. In 30 years. Meanwhile, in 1962, the first global communications satellite called Telstar was built. The 170-pound satellite was mounted on a Thor Delta rocket and then launched into space. President Kennedy's visit to West Berlin was the first major news event to be broadcast live by satellite from Europe to America. The birth, growth, and path of tornadoes and other violent storms were plotted and tracked anywhere on the globe. Satellite maps provided data that could be recorded, stored, and punched up when needed for analysis and evaluation. One day, perhaps, meteorologists may have enough data and information to control the weather. Computers shrank in size and cost as transistors replaced vacuum tubes. In law enforcement, a computer-based system has been developed for reproducing fingerprints. The new system accelerates enormously the positive identification of any print on file. A manual search that once took up to a week can now be completed in hours. The long arm of the law is getting longer and developing more muscle thanks to the information revolution. When a state trooper radios for information on a speeding car with out-of-state license plates, a computerized crime information center in Washington, D.C. confirms that the car, alerted to the possibility that the driver may be armed and dangerous, the state trooper can call for reinforcements and make the arrest with a minimum of risk. Computers also are a strategic link in a global network supplying vital defense information to American military bases around the world. The automatic digital network provides the input needed for an immediate response in a crisis situation. Today, Comstar satellites weigh about 3,500 pounds and are some 20 feet tall. Solar panels collect the sun's energy as the satellite keeps its antennas aimed directly at receiving stations on the ground. From its geostationary orbit, Comstar can relay messages and signals to any one of 7 Earth stations. Each station is information on a city, a country, or a continent. Distance and time are shrinking as commercial and cable television cover the world. There is hardly a major sports or news event anywhere in the world that cannot be seen live on commercial or cable television. The 1980 Winter Olympics at Lake Placid, New York, were transmitted via specially built satellite Earth stations. 22,300 miles up, 22,300 miles down. A round trip of 44,600 miles in 20/100ths or 1/5 of a second. Programming and information will grow as cable TV expands. In computer technology, silicon chips are today etched with circuits powerful enough to book seats on a jumbo jet, cut complex fabrics of cloth, and help children learn. The computers on a chip, called microprocessors, Glen Penniston explains.
This powerful new technological tool, the microcomputer, unlike the many advances that the space age spawned, didn't even exist until 3 years after man set foot on the moon. It was born out of the desire to further shrink the size of the computer. Now, smaller size means fewer components, and hence greater reliability. And it means a large reduction in power requirements, hence significant energy saved. The progression from the concept of the microcomputer to the industrial usage to the impact on us, the individual, has really been startling, and we measure it in months and not in years.
Business, vacations, going away, coming home, a new society, people on the move, depending on the information revolution for a safe flight and a smooth landing. Flight controllers use computers to process radar information and update the identity, speed, and position of an aircraft in flight. Translated into letters and numbers called alphanumerics, the data enables controllers to handle the tens of thousands of aircraft that fly hundreds of millions of miles a year. In the future, new computer systems will continue to help assure safety in the skies. From an electronic listing of pending items, touch a button. Zurich, London, any place in the world, in whatever language is appropriate. This ability to transmit information and pictures across continents and over oceans is being used in countless ways. Case in point, a physician in Paris is not sure of her diagnosis and would like additional medical information. A few steps away is a complete terminal and the ability to acquire up-to-date research from other countries. Within seconds, the request is flashed across the Atlantic and relayed to Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, Maryland. The request is processed, the information programmed, and the response sent on its way to Paris. Medical science and computer technology, partners in diagnosing illnesses and saving lives. Around the world, the information revolution is changing the nature of what people do and how they do it, putting at their fingertips the collective capabilities of the human race in solving mankind's most challenging problems and improving the quality of life for everyone on planet Earth.